Good morning, everyone. Yes, as you know, my name is Maria, working at Fook Mental Health Association. It is a great pleasure today that I have this opportunity to share with you this very important topic, the organizational wellness. And thank you so much, Michelle, to give us a very extensive description and the importance of that. So let's look at today's objective. We would like to enhance our capacity, the agency capacity to promote self-care and prevent self-burnout, and also raise the awareness and impact of mental health issue at work, increase the collaboration between staff members that promote a welcoming community for everyone, and also develop strategy for framework that can be used to make organizational change. Oh, also, before I start, if you have any question and if you cannot hear me, please do let me know. And also just unmute yourself and talk, because on my screen, I can only see very limited of you. So I won't be able to see if you put your hands up and things like that. And maybe Misha and also you guys can help me too, okay? All right. So before I go into the content, I really want to connect with each one of you. How many of us have feel this way in this past week? Like this picture, overwhelmed. How many of us? You can just put the like an emoji if you would like. I just want to see how many, like the emoji with the hands. Oh, thank you for echoing. All right, same here. Yes, yeah. Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm not alone. We are not alone. And how many of us feels very nervous? I'm not sure. Like for me, I'm so nervous because as we all know, March 31st is the physical year end, and I still have so much to do. I felt so nervous. Oh my goodness. Yes, I also have someone echoing. And yet some of us may be losing our sleep, that we're not able to sleep because we are so worried or just without any reason, maybe become a chronic. 2 o'clock, we are awake. 3 o'clock, we still lie, on the bed, but without sleep. How many of us are in that state? All right. And yet, something positive. And some of us, I know we all are very busy, and yet we still know how to keep ourselves intact. Like, we do exercise and we take that 2 minutes or even 1 minute to do the deep breathing. How many? Oh, wow, great. Thank you. Yeah, it is very important. And also, how many of us feel angry? Feel angry because I have that feeling. Yeah, thank you. I have some hands already. That I felt angry because we were so hard, and yet the pay is always not rising, and the inflation, everything, right? Yeah.
Something. Oh.
Someone wants. Okay, thank you. All right, thank you so much for being so responsive. And I just want to say the reason I want to ask you this, and I found many times when we are in crisis or when we are very overwhelmed, we forgot about how we feel. We are just using all our effort, our whatever energy left to deal with that crisis or like to resolve the problem, and we forgot how we feel. And it is very crucial for us to identify how we feel, and when we are feeling that, and how do our body react to it, because by knowing, have more knowledge on that, it helps us to be more effectively attend to our own self-care, in return, and we can provide better care to everyone and have a better relationship. All right. So now let's look at why workplace mental health matters. I'm sure I do not need to go too deep into that. We all know. But most important, none of us can serve from an empty cup. Even we want to serve our client team, our beloved, significant people team, if we are empty, it is difficult for us to serve, right? So it is very crucial that we must take care of ourselves first. And another important note is that when we are looking at statistics, when they do statistics on why, like in certain sector, people are more susceptible to compassion fatigue or vicarious secondary stress. And when we look at the statistic, we saw that 39% of people in the A sector, they report that they have burnout issue. And look at that alarming figure, 63% mental illness in the nonprofit sector. So that is a very high amount. It is not only talking about feeling stressed. We are talking about mental health illness, right? So that means that is why it is very crucial for us to be aware of that and how to support our colleague and also to help ourselves to stop that happening. So when we're talking about compassion fatigue, it is the stress that we suffer from helping, especially on our daily practice. Maybe often we come across people who are traumatized and or under great distress. By listening to their story, and we also may be affected by that, and it really it can drain us if we are not prepared, especially for younger workers that maybe they're new, that they have less experience, that is even more easily affected. And for the vicarious secondary stress, it is result when we, as I say here, the first-hand trauma experience from our client, from our family member, from our colleague even. And that will also cause it. I can share with you, my mother has gone through war, and she always, for me, I never gone through any war, no civic war, nothing, right? But my mother often told us about when during those times, whenever she hear the airplane, like the helicopter, the sounds of that, and they have to hide. And after she talked about that story, and we in Hong Kong, we live in a place very close to the airport. I remember whenever I heard the airplane coming down, that when we hear that very prominent noise, I felt so frightened. I felt like I want to hide under the table too. So you can see that when we are talking about vicarious stress or secondary trauma, that is what's happening. Not to mention on a daily basis, if we constantly hearing all these horrific experience from others, so we have to be very careful to make sure the organization support us too, not only us. Oh, let's look at some facts. Although that, Misha, thank you so much for already sharing some with us. Okay, we know that when we are talking about mental health issue, the cost of mental health issue in the Canadian economy, every year it costs over 51 billion a year. Can you believe that? That is a very high figure. When I say mental health related issue, meaning when people are not able to work, so they have to be absent from work, so they have to find someone to replace, or they have to take the long-term benefit and all these different things, or they have to stay in a hospital to seek help from the health practitioner. All these are money. And what do you think are the costs of the losing productivity? That means at work. How much money it will cost us, the Canadian, in a yearly basis? Anyone want to take a wild guess? Anyone? How many billion? I can give you the hints. It's a billion. It's 20 billion. So it is very high. So you can see that that is why it is very crucial that the agency have to address the organizational wellness. Because when we're talking about individuals' health, it is not only us, up to us. It is the whole organization have to work together. And also another statistic, what do you think from the World Health Organization? What is a leading cause of disability worldwide and a major contributor to the overall global burden of disease? Anyone? You just unmute yourself and shout out. What do you think are the leading cause of disability? Causing people not able to perform, causing people
Stress?
that they are, sorry?
Is it stress?
Oh, well, thank you so much. It's stress related. It's depression. Yeah, it's depression. Depression, because stress can also lead to depression. Thank you so much. Yeah. So with that, when we are talking about mental illness at the workplace, so that is the number one. And anxiety also is another leading cause of disability at workplace. Okay, from this Morel Chappelle research at on the mental health index report, 44% of the respondents believe that if they told an employer about having a mental health issue, their career would suffer. Although we can see the high prevalence of this mental illness existing in our workplace, and yet so high amount. In fact, the recent research, many other research also indicate even higher than that. More than half of the people are reluctant to talk about their mental health issue at work because they're afraid being fired, even not only not having the opportunity of promotion or those. So you can see that mental health, it is really a very crucial factor that we have to address if we want to maintain the health. Oh, let me show you this very interesting video. Oh, sorry, how come it's like that? If you cannot hear
Reduced productivity from poor mental health is expected to cost the world economy $6 trillion per year by 2030. While many employers recognize this and have taken action, such as including mental well-being plans in their policies, a significant part also lies in how the office environment itself affects staff wellness and performance. CNA's Elizabeth Neo reports.
Well, companies around the world are trying to keep their employees happy through not only offering mental health support like wellness days and allowing claims for therapy, but also taking care of their staff while they're at work. From free meals to areas to relax and unwind, these are just some of the ways they're making the office a more welcoming space.
A recent McKinsey study found that 1 in 4 employees worldwide are experiencing symptoms of burnout. In Asia, that figure is 1 in 3. Poor workplace mental health can lead to costly organizational issues, including absenteeism, lower engagement, decreased productivity, and increased insurance costs. But there is also evidence that addressing well-being in the office can increase productivity by as much as 12%. While providing flexible working arrangements, wellness days, and allowing claims for mental health issues go a long way in taking care of an employee's welfare, so do psychosocial factors such as the work environment, something LinkedIn takes seriously.
I think taking a breather is something that's really important, especially in a stressful job. It's also important that there are suitable options for that. So over here it could be taking a break, having a coffee with one of your colleagues, or going for a midday yoga or meditation session. I think it's important to be able to take 30 minutes to an hour to have that breather in between your workday when you want to create some space in your mind and come back with new energy to really handle the task at hand.
Well-being for sure. If there is productivity gain, it's a bonus. We don't do these things keeping that factor or that end result in mind. During the pandemic, we learned that there was a lot of feedback from our employees around depression, around mental health. I personally think that companies should continue to invest, consult employees and make sure that what you are doing is relevant for them, it resonates with them and it's helping them, whether it is more programs to equip managers or whether it is changes to your physical workspace.
Real estate consultancy JLL has partnered with bioinformatics and technology company Emotive to find out what exactly its staff need to thrive.
We've developed machine learning algorithms that were trained under experimental conditions. What we are doing in this study is looking at these features, which include attention, focus, interest, engagement, and stress. We're capturing data from people in the context in which they're actually living their lives. This is really a world's first study of this nature, where we've gone in and we're capturing neuroscientific brain data from individuals while they're actually doing work as they normally would.
The study aims to uncover factors that allow for optimal work experiences, such as ideal environments for creative tasks and what sort of work conditions can drive collaboration. At the same time, it hopes to turn the office into an uplifting space.
I think Singapore and many countries around Southeast Asia actually struggle with quite a lot of stigma, and the idea of being open and vulnerable about times that you might be struggling or feelings of mental ill health or anxiety and depression is very misunderstood. And so it's very important for us to be able to shape a dialogue in which people feel comfortable talking about their mental well-being. So by giving people insight into the data around when they're feeling stressed, when they are focused the most, I think we can actually start a much bigger conversation about mental well-being in the workplace all across Asia Pacific.
How do you like that? Yeah, I really find that to be, although it's simple, but it's very inspiring. So what we know is that, I mean, when we're talking about organizational wellness, it is not only about having those benefits. It is the whole organization has to cultivate a culture that value well-being and allow people to talk about mental health. Also, I want to share with you about 2 years ago, Fook had engaged a team of professional organization to conduct a survey on especially for the non-profit sector, the settlement sector, on the workplace wellness. And what we found, let me show you. So when we're talking about mental health spectrum, we all know it is like it's sliding back and forth, right? From wellness to struggling and even to unwell. And when we do that, to ask all the respondents how well they feel and how many people you think that at your agency are experiencing a burnout issue. And when you look at the result, it is very alarming. It is 52.2% is saying that, I mean, they think over 52% of the people are having that. And or even the more higher
Maria,
amount of that. Yes.
Maria, I feel like the number must be way higher. This is like a watered down version. Like knowing and like speaking to service providers like over the past, year or 2 years, it's very evident that the number is much higher. They're just maybe not disclosing it. As you had mentioned, fear of, being scrutinized or whatnot.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, I do believe that. Yeah. Thank you. So you can see all these are under report. Just like the mental health issue that we see in the statistics, we all know not everyone who are suffering from mental health, they are talking. So that is definitely, thank you so much for your feedback. And more assessment finding from our survey, it is that over 50% of the respondents agree that stress at work make it difficult for them to fully recover their energy. Of course, we can understand that. And the mental health issue, when we are talking mental health issue, it is not only about when we are having mental illness. It is also about feeling safe to asking help from others, that we are saying that we are being vulnerable, that, I won't be able to do it today because I really feel my energy are down. Like, can you help? People are really feeling reluctant to do that. And also talking about problem and tough issues. So you can see by not able to do that, it is also cause mental health stress. And also more than half of the respondents did not feel that their manager have the skill and tool to help prevent burnout in their team. I really want to apologize. I'm not sure how many of our participants today here are at that team, but that is the statistic. In fact, I think only about 20-some percent, 28% of the respondents say they have the confidence that the manager are able to contain to help. And also more did not feel comfortable. Of course, we talk about that. The raising concern about well-being and burnout with management. Because I think, especially at the non-profit sector, the settlement sector, we always talking about the wellness of client. Am I right? Always talking about the wellness of others instead of about ourselves, about our team. So that is the culture. And lack of awareness of what policy and process are available, are in place to support. You will be surprised. Like we thought that everyone will know, but it's not. And even they were told at the beginning, before they enter the industry or before they start working with the company, but they just forgot, and it was not being reminded even when the problem arises. So all these are the main findings. So when we're talking about workplace mental health issue, it's not only about the statistic from others, from all over the world, but it's from us, the settlement sector, that we can see the prevalence rate are so high. And of course, we also heard that 1 in 4 are suffering from different mental health issues. And we all know that if we are experiencing stress, just like one of our friends here share, that it will become unhealthy if we are not coping with it. And if we are experiencing prolonged excessive stress, it will lead to the mental health problem and maybe illness as well. So when we're talking about like the high prevalence of mental health issue existing in at work nowadays, but yet it's still hidden. Nobody talking about it. Of course, fear of losing one's job. And I can share with you that it is not only on the papers talking like that. I personally myself know someone from the non-profit sector that this individual suffering from depression, and she has to take prolonged sick leave, and she was being let go. It is really happening. And fear of not being promoted, of course, right? Because when next time when there is opportunity, when people know, oh, Maria, 2 years ago she has depression. Well, maybe we cannot act onto her stress. Maybe she is not able to handle the stress. So that is a very common kind of belief among people. And fear of being isolated or shame. Of course, I mean, when we are talking about depression, still up to today, when we look at the statistic, people, the majority of people still believe that if individual, maybe only because they are weak in their willpower, or they are just being lazy, that they just using this as an excuse, that they don't really having a problem, especially for individual who's taking a longer sick leave term. So that is the reality happening. So that is why individuals are fear of being isolated, that, oh, Maria has like mental illness. Maybe, you know, her mood will swing from time to time. So better not to talk to her, or being shameful, right? That she's weak, or discouraged by colleagues from seeking help. And that happened too. That, Maria, do not talk about it, because when people know, then, you know, they may look down upon you. For example, right? Our colleague will try to give a good advice, but yet, so that will also, discourage individual to come forward to talk about it. And fear that long-term career are being affected, of course. So all these different factors really affect. And let's look at some warning sign of when people are not talking about it. So how are we as a colleague or as a manager to spot? And there is some warning sign. I'm not going to go through each one of them, because I'm sure that is our many of you already have that knowledge. And mind you, do not worry about putting down the information. I will share the PowerPoint with you, every one of you, okay, by the end of the presentation. So there is visible sign that people can see. For example, that individual are easily annoyed, that they have less tolerance, or even the appearance. We can see that the main thing it is, if we spot our colleague, it is not as usual. Like Maria always come early for all these past 2 years, and suddenly she became come in late, and her hair, it is like not being combed properly, and things like that. So we can spot that there's something is not right. And the thing it is very important as a colleague or as a manager. If we spot that, we can take the opportunity to talk to the individual, to acknowledge that we We noticed that, and also to express our concern. And that also opened up a conversation, a difficult conversation, to allow individual to talk. And also non-visible sign that we can see as well, unhealthy eating habits. I know that Maria usually like eat very healthy, salad, fish, and fruit, but lately she just keep on eating deep fry and drinking coffee after coffee and even smoking, for example. So all these non-visible signs also give us a hint. So verbal or non-verbal. And knowing all these signs can really help us as a colleague and even for ourselves. As I say, when we are facing crisis, when we are facing obstacle in life, especially distress, great distress, it is very easy for us to forget our practice, to forget even our core values sometimes, because we are so busy managing all these difficulty. If you have any question, please like just unmute and talk, all right? So I really want to raise this question to ask ourselves, each one of us, to assess the team's burnout. Like as we talked earlier, and Misha also shared, when we are talking about burnout, I'm sure it's almost, I dare say, almost every one of us, maybe. I'm not sure whether my estimation are too high, but many of us, I dare say many of us have experienced that, right? So when we ask ourselves, our team does not seem as motivated as normal. So all these are the signs, and has low energy to complete their work. So we notice that. And appear exhausted during meeting because we have regular meeting. And in the meeting, we're not only talking about business. When we look at our colleague and when we look at our staff, we notice that, oh, they look very tired. They do not participate actively as usual. So all these are signs that they are burning out. And my work team's happiness is strongly affected when their clients are not doing well. If we find that our team members, our colleagues, our staff are strongly affected by our clients' well-doing. For example, today you saw Maria looking very, very groovy and down, and you asked, and then I said, oh, I'm so worried about so-and-so to get that EI. I'm so worried about her wellness. Oh, you know, maybe I have to call her even during the lunchtime, for example. So all these are not healthy, because if we are not setting a boundary, our team or our colleague not setting a boundary at work, and that eventually will lead to burnout and even like maybe depression or anxiety. So all these signs that this question we can ask ourselves when we are meeting our team members in order to be more sensitive about our team. And I want to stress at one thing. I'm not sure about today's all of you, what position are you at your organization? But it doesn't matter. Even you're at the manager or you are the colleague, and I think each one of us can play a role. Each one of us can also ask that question. And the framework for addressing a mental wellness. So we want to go one step ahead. We don't want to only prevent burnout. We want to promote mental wellness. So if we are in a manager team, or even colleague, we will try to keep a lookout for the sign of burnout among ourselves, among our colleagues, and even to convey that message to our manager if we are at the staff. And if the manager, we will have that opportunity. We notice that our staff are not having a sign of burnout, and we create a safe space, and also to initiate conversation. It is very, very crucial. As we can see from many statistics, people, especially the frontline worker, we are very reluctant to openly talk about, you know, how devastated they are and how burnout they are, or, you know, how overworked they are, especially to the management team, like, because that may affect, you know, how much they are being liked likable, right? So all this, if we create a safe space for everyone to talk about, like a check-in, and that really helps. Sometimes ventilizing and the knowing that the organization are understanding and recognizing that, and that alone, it is very empowering. And where can I guide this person if we are in the team, and even if we are the colleague? Because when our colleagues are in great distress, even they know what is available, they may not have that energy to navigate the system or even to use the system. So we as the leader or as the colleague, and we can help the individual and show them the resources, and even maybe offer to call if with their permission and inform about the policy and the process and the program available, right? What are some wellness program available, and what are some policy relating to that? Maybe sick leave and the mental health, mental wellness day, all this. And all this, talking about that also empower individual, because that is a sign that we are recognizing, and that is normalizing that too. That is not only you having that problem. We make the policy, everyone can apply to everyone. And also what is occurring and at the organizational level. Even the management team, we have our boss, we have our board, right, that we have to answer to. So what needs to be done at the higher level? That as a management team, how are we going to advocate for that policy to be, to renew the policy? Or maybe there is some a more trend coming up regarding the organizational wellness. So it's up to us to convey that important piece, to patch to the board, like to the decision maker, to invest in that very important area. So let's reflect. I would like to ask each one of you here, what does employee well-being mean at your organization? I want to hear from you. Anyone want to share? Maybe one or two people. If you just unmute yourself and share, that would be great. What does that mean to you? Like when we are talking about well-being at your organization. Anyone? Is it only that we can take a break? I mean, that is important, mind you, okay? But is that how you define? And does it align with your expectation? Okay, I realize
Maria?
that maybe, yes,
Maybe
sure.
I can share about
Yes.
TNO.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. So at actually, Zareen has her hand up, so I will allow Zareen to speak first, and then I will go.
You
Okay,
could go
Zareen.
ahead, Nisha. That's okay. You could go ahead.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. So at TNO, the policies over the years have changed a lot in terms of like mental health. I've been at TNO for many years, but like what we have now is very different than what it used to be then. Our organization has come around to the topic of mental health much more. They've embraced it in a much more positive manner, especially since COVID has begun. You know, we have, of course, the employee assistance program, which I don't know how helpful it is, but it exists. We have our benefits, which, you know, it provides for full-time staff. It's like a health spending account, which allows you to spend as you wish on like any kind of holistic practices. Could be mental health, could be, you know, physio, massage, etc., for anything wellness related. But we also have an in-house mental health team who provides support to clients, but that's open to staff as well that would like to access support. But in general, the organization has tried to keep a kind of like a welcoming approach and an open door approach. And yeah, so there's much more. I'm just not being able to synthesize it right now, but at the moment, I personally am happy with the mental health kind of like the push for greater mental health and well-being at the work that is going on. So yeah.
Well, it sounds like an ideal workplace. Thank you so much for your sharing. And Sri?
Yeah, so basically, as some of you may know, that Working Women is unionized, and we have persistently negotiated really well with our management team to uh, just like have employee welfare being on top of their lists. So we get 18 sick days, of which
Wow.
6 sick days can be taken for mental health. You can just go do shopping. Nobody's going to check on you. Nobody's going to say anything. You can take six mental health days. We do have a very reasonably very good benefits package as well,
Thank
which
you so
covers
much.
yeah,
Yeah.
which covers quite a lot of almost every kind of para medical
Wow.
services.
Yes.
We also, uh, I mean, at some point we may think it's a little excessive, but we have paid holidays for the Christmas time. We have the 2 Fridays off in the summer, every stat holiday. Uh, and if you start with 4 weeks vacation annually, and then it goes to 5 weeks after 5 years. Now, all this is like basically has been negotiated over the years, but this is only for our management and the union team. So we do recognize that we have some other staff who are not unionized, but constantly we are working towards making sure that the people who are not unionized are not in precarious job positions. We try and negotiate constantly with management to make sure that we even change the status of the staff who are non-unionized to become unionized as soon as opportunities arise.
Wow, that's very great. It really sounds like an so ideal. I would like to come to your agency to work, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, from your sharing, I find that one very crucial thing that the employer, the decision maker at least at your organization, they honor how what does that mean to you that is meaningful for you for when we are talking about wellness. It is not only about what they think it is working. So, and I think that is a very crucial part. Let's look at what works and what does not seem to work. And also want to share with you, this is also from our survey that we have conducted that we found from the sector, the employee-specific professional development plan. And in some of the organizations, they have that. They will ask employees, they will pay attention to employees, what are their specific development plan. For example, maybe Maria want to be specialized in crisis intervention. So maybe she can benefit from attending more training in that field. So that they found this is a very important in their wellness. That means they're being recognized by the agency, and also this can help them for the advancement as well. And the option to have a flexible schedule, always come in. I mean, that important point. A system for tracking employee progress and goals. A lot of time when we are doing the performance, like appraisal, that it's just like a lip surface, right? You just talk and forget. But if there is a system for tracking the progress and the goal, and they find that to be a very helpful in the case for the employee themselves to look their changes and also to remind them of their original goal, all this. And programs that offer treatment, referral for mental health issues or substance abuse, especially for these two. Not only, EPA or something. That's what we were told at the thing. And that also like echoing with what we found from the research as well. And this is the quote from the participant. The extended healthcare package includes psychotherapy, counseling, and massage. Massage is very important. I hope that we all have that, right? I mean, the participant today here. Talk about burnout, resilience, psychological safety, idea to create a space to reflect on what we have experienced, and practical advice. So when we're talking about the organizational wellness, not only about having those programs, but having that safe space, that is a very crucial word. That not being judged, that you feel safe, you can talk about how you feel, and you can talk about that you're concerned about the psychological state and what is coming up and how you're feeling about the burnout, all this can enhance mental wellness. So all these, each one of us can help to create, no matter we are a manager or as a colleague. And the pulse taking, this is very specific, like pulse taking, for example, if we, each day we take that 15 minutes to have that, we can reconnect with others, and engagement survey, virtual gathering. Yeah, that's what happened at Home Fook too. We have that, we used to have that virtual gathering on a weekly basis, especially at the beginning of the pandemic, because we, all of us work at home, right? So we cannot see each other. And a lot of statistics also indicate that by working at home solely, and that also cause mental health issue for us, because we become so isolated as well, and lacking of the mutual support, right? So the mutual support are crucial, and the mentor-mentee program are very, very helpful. And all these are the well-being initiatives that they found are very helpful. Anyone want to share that about your overview? If you have, oh, okay, Serene, yes.
Okay, I'm back again. I wanted to just mention this to everybody, just FYI, that depending on what benefits company you have, like we have Green Shield, and very often Green Shield offers free counseling services, like special services for women. Then they have these programs where you can just use your benefit, but you have online support for the whole year. There are a lot of things that are there. Obviously, they don't advertise a lot because they have to, every time we use the service, they get paid, and they actually get paid not to pay us. So that's how the insurance companies work. But I would really urge each one of you who have a benefits package to look into your package, log on and see what services you have. We have a lot more than that most of us even are aware of. So especially when it comes to mental health, there's been this trend in the last 3-4 years where, or maybe 5-6 years, where mental health has been destigmatized. And based on that, they want to do their due diligence to show that, oh, see, we are doing our part in it, but they don't promote it as much as they should. So please, I urge you to check your benefits packages. There's a lot more than what you would just see on the front page.
Wow, great. Thank you so much, Serene. You're great. Yeah, and that actually was one of the very many of our participants who participate in the survey indicate that they're not even aware, although they have the policy, but we don't really read. So yeah, thank you so much. And that is a reminder that we really read what benefit we have. And what are
Maria?
some shortcomings? Yeah.
I'd just like to read some comments that we have in the chat box.
Sure.
Just for you before we move on. So one of the attendees mentioned that they personally go to the gym after work to deal with their workplace stress, but if they could have something incorporated into the workplace, it would be an added bonus, like what was shown in the video. Another one of the participants, whose name is still showing Misha Hussein, he or she has said that it would be great to have our benefits covered beyond the RMT, chiro, etc., and cover holistic approaches to stress management, such as breathing workshops, yoga, etc. I attend self-care workshops regularly and find it an investment for myself to do deep breathing meditation. I find this to be a game changer for my approach to work stress.
Wow, thank you. This is so enlightening and inspiring. Thank you for your sharing. Yes, for sure. Okay, let's look at some shortcoming. The EAP industry, although, I mean, I dare say many of us may have that benefit, the EAP, that they have the psychotherapists and all those specialists to provide counseling, but they report that only 6.9% of people are actually use them. And I can share with you with my honest heart, at Home Fook, we are specialized in mental health, and so few of our staff our colleague will use that services. Of course, we have that service too. But so you can see that is a very underused services. When I ask individual why, I mean, you obviously you can benefit from them, but why are you not taking? They say, oh no, I just don't feel comfortable. So that is the often answer. Very few, and even they have that reports, only 6.9% are using it, okay? And some research show wellness program has little impact on absenteeism, healthcare spending, or job performance. So you can see even our company have installed some wellness program that has very little impact on the absenteeism. That means people coming to work and yet they are not absent. I mean, they're absent. Their soul is not there. Their spirit is not there. I mean, their body is there only, right? So, but we will talk about it later. So this is the finding only. And half of employers who offer wellness program, they do not really evaluate that. They just offer it and they just out there, oh, you just enjoy them, right? They don't really do the evaluation to see how effective they are and what are needed. They stop asking staff, like, is it helpful? Or what are more helpful than this program to find out? And also a recent study, this is from the research, a recent study showed that corporate wellness offering may be even more with the, they only be more effective with the already healthy employee. You got it? So, I mean, for those in a higher, with a more higher income, in a higher position, those programs are very effective for them. But for the frontline or from the people who are maybe in a precarious situation or having lower income, they are not as effective. What do you think are the reasons? Maybe they don't have the energy even to use it. They are worrying about putting food on the table, right? They have to rush home to maybe attend to different issues. And they don't have that energy. Like I had a colleague talking to me like that. They said, I'm too overwhelmed. I just cannot deal with this. I just have to, you know, when I have a moment, I just want to sleep, that kind of thing. So you can see when we are talking about equity, that is another thing. Oh, okay, Greta, we would like to hear from you, please.
Yes, Maria, thank you so much. Well, my experience is all our organizations, they have great packages to cover some mental health issues and stress and counseling and other benefits that are great. We have to ask how many of us would use them. And the reality is like we come to work even we feel sick and we come to work, and that's unfortunately the mentality that we have, that we are more efficient, we respond to deadlines. And what I find honestly in all the organizations, because I work for a number of organizations in the past, the organization that I work now, we have great benefits, great team, but what is in common is the expectation is that you deliver the results. Yes, you have your benefits, but nobody talks about what kind of benefits. The staff is not aware of all the components, how you can use them, as well as how far you can go with if there is unlimited funds, because it's limited. And the staff is still coming to work sick. That's not only from the management. I think they provide us the support that we need to get access to services, but I think us as workers, we have this mentality that you have to meet the deadlines, you have to come to work. And even management, you see managers are sick and they're still working, they're connected online. Then that's a little bit concerning. That's why I think the burnout comes up. Like everybody comes and work, even if they're sick. We have so many sick days. Tell me how many sick days I used in the past 10 years. Very few. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. You know, you raise a very interesting and good point, I think, that you said that lots of people not aware, as the other participant here today, that we're not aware of really what kind of benefit we have. And by talking, having a meeting, maybe in a meeting, we touch base and talk and share about it. And by doing that, not only having a more insight into our program, our benefit program, but also it's like an encouragement. Oh, wow. Oh, well, we both, I mean, we all can use it. But we take a day to have a massage, for example. And I think by doing that, it really can encourage people to use it as well. So we can be creative when we are talking about creating that, cultivating a good environment at our workplace. And the effectiveness of well-being initiative, like that's what I want to share from our participant, our survey. The respondent indicate 32%, only 32% agree that the manager may have the skill and tool to help prevent mental stress and burnout in the workplace. And 28% agree that people at their work have the skill and tool they need to effectively manage their own stress. So only 28% think that the colleague or everyone at the workplace have that skill. So you can see how overwhelmed it is, right? And 40% agree there are processes in place to help support employee with mental stress issue. So that is, I mean, compared with all these two other statistics, it is already considered to be successful already. And yet, still, right? I mean, the success rate, it is not as optimal. I want to show you another, I found this is very inspiring as well.
There are a lot of people who think that workplace well-being is a kind of nice to have. It is not. It is a must-have now, particularly in the UK in terms of its productivity per capita, which is extremely poor. The health and safety executive said when they were looking at their sickness absence figures for the UK in 2018, 57% of all sickness absence is due to stress, mental health, depression, and anxiety. 57%, one of the highest of any of the developed countries in Europe. Many organizations think about well-being as sushi at your desk, bean bags, mindfulness at lunchtime. That's not what well-being's about. It's the culture you create that makes people feel valued and trusted. You have to have a strategy. 3 solutions to the well-being paradox. Number 1, make sure you train your line managers from shop floor to top floor on their EQ skills, their emotional intelligence. We don't have enough of them. A culture in which managers manage you by praise and reward rather than fault finding. Trust them enough so you give them more autonomy at work, more control of their job. Number 2, let people work much more flexibly than they currently do. In the UK, 2 out of every 3 couples are working couples or single parents working. And they need flexibility, not just for childcare, but elder care, or they need it because of where they live. Given technology, people can work much more flexibly than they ever have before. So we can get this balance dead easy, but it's about organizations not demanding that people show FaceTime, that they be there early and stay late. And number 3, which people totally ignore, is emails. Emails are killing people because it means people have to be on 7/24. So I wouldn't go as far as the French law, which has banned managers by law, national law, from sending emails out of office hours to their subordinates. That's a law. I wouldn't do that because we want to work flexibly. But what I certainly would do is end the email culture. And that's what well-being should be about. If we only had managers that enable this, we'd be in much better shape. And our productivity per capita would not be 7th in the G7 or 17th in the G20. It would be much higher. It is not about apples on desks. It's about changing your culture. Those organizations are the ones that will, in the end, survive and flourish.
I really like that video, and I find that to be so true. When we are looking at the statistic, not only about the statistic out there, I mean our own sector statistic, we can see that even with the benefit, it's still not really going too far. So creating a culture that value and also give the autonomy And that is the crucial part to enhance the organizational wellness. Oh, I just want to do a very like a kind of like a interesting test, okay, self-test, to see how stressed are we at this moment. All right, don't take it serious. It's just, but it has some sort of accuracy. Okay, so we come to this restaurant because we want to eat, right? Like almost lunchtime. But then we were told no table available, but you can share table with one of these tables. We have 4 here. The first table with 3 ladies chatting happily. The second table with 3 gentlemen solemnly looking. And the third table, the mother with 2 kids. And the fourth table is a couple that holding hand. Which table would you take? That no need to analyze. That's from your gut feeling, okay? This is to indicate how stressed we are. Okay, so let's see. If you take the table number 1, that means your pressure index is 25%. And don't think, oh wow, 25%, but that is a good figure, because as we know, if we have zero percentage of like a stress, and it's not good, right? Because that means you have no motivation. Maybe just want to lie on the bed and nothing. So 25% is a is a good amount, but do not let them escalate. And if you take table 2, oh my God, that is what I took, okay? 99%. Be aware, okay, we are at the edge of, burnout. Table number 3, that our pressure index is 50%. We have so much responsibility, and we are too diligent working. We do not like to delegate and say no. So be aware, please do that. If you take table number 4, the index is very low, 12%. As I say, it may not be necessarily a very good sign. Maybe we just unmotivated. Okay? Anyone agree there is some sort of accuracy with this self-test? just for fun. Just at this difficult, a month, busy month, we just want some, but of course, I want to indicate that all these self-tests, they have certain probability, they have done certain probability to come to this conclusion, all right? Just to remind us, no matter what, like pressure, stress, adequate is good. It helps us, but too much, it will lead to serious problem. So deep breathing, it is another exercise that can help us to really instantly help us to calm. So we inhale slowly and deeply through our nose and hold it there as long as we can, and exhale slowly through our mouth. Okay, keep our jaw relaxed, keep our body relaxed. And then later on, we can notice how we feel and what is in our mind, and pay attention to that, and notice how the body feels as well. So doing this exercise, I found it really helped me to calm. Like sometimes when I am at the peak of the very nervous moment, I just lost my mind. I lost my speech. And by doing that, it really helped me. The oxygen can help to circulate, right, more, get to my brain, and I'm alive again. So this is just a reminder for each one of us that we can do without costing us any money and any time, no matter how busy we are, all right? So let's look at some strategy that can help building a healthy working environment, promoting holistic health. Let's look at this organizational iceberg. We all know what is iceberg, okay? I do not need to explain. So at the top of the thing that we can see, each one of us can see, is our agency's policy, what policies they have, what rule they have, what tools they have, and what reward and skill that they need, right, from us, or to reward us. But how about underneath? Underneath it is that the perception of us or the staff, or even us, our perception of the agency and our management team, the attitude and value. And even when we are carrying out the policy, the attitude, it is crucial, right? If I say, Oh, Maria, you seem to be very tired. Do you know that our agency have this policy? For example, if my manager approach me like that, or oh, Maria, what happened to you? You look so tired. Uh, can you work? Do you still have the energy to work? Don't you know that we have that program that you can use? Use it. For example, you can see. So the attitude and the value that really can help, can impact on individuals' wellness, on the colleague, on our wellness, right? So the policy is there. Of course, no one can alter, right? Unless that you have a procedure. But the attitude and how the management team or the board carry that out, it is really impact. And in fact, lots of times they find that impact even greater than the policy itself. And the power relationship, of course, right? And the leadership style. Whether the leadership style is open or authoritarian, all these impact, right? And the group dynamic and how close intact our team is. And all these really contribute to the organizational wellness. So let's do a reflection. At our organization, what are the formal? The formal is the policy and all those things that to influence our well-being. Anyone want to share that? We heard a few of our friends here share how good policy the organization have, and I really envy all this. But what are some, like, this is the formal structure that really help to enhance the organizational wellness. But what are some informal mechanism? Do I get it clear? Anyone? Or you have any question of my question? Maybe I can share one example. I have a very, very close friend of mine. It's like a sister, and she worked in this organization, a big organization, and she is in the middle management level, and she constantly feeling tired and very stressed. And then because we are very close, like we always talk about any issue, and she told me that it is extremely stressful at work, although she's already in the middle management. And she shared that although they have all the policy in place, but then her manager, her supervisor are very, very micromanaging. So she has to report everything. And even if she allowed her staff to do certain things, she was being questioned. So all these and really draining her, although she's following the policy, but still by doing that, it is draining. She herself is at the edge of burning out. So we can see that when we are talking about the informal structures, a lot of time, it even influences the wellness, the organizational wellness, greater than the one that we can see, the policy, the rule, and the practice. All right? If no one wants to share, I will proceed. And if you want to share, I would like to hear from you.
Okay.
Could
you? Okay.
Yes. Okay, yeah, please. Yeah.
Sorry, could you
Someone
rephrase the question?
Oh, my question is, at your organization, I know that at each one of us, and at our organization, we have structure program to help, right? To help the organization to wellness. Maybe that is the EPA, maybe the wellness day. All these are the formal structure. But I'm saying the informal structure is how it's being carried out, and the attitude of the management team, or how accepting it is when people talking about their mental health issue by the agency. So all these are informal, are hidden.
I see.
Yeah.
So one thing I noticed,
Mm-hmm.
I used an EAP service at not my current employer, but my previous employer.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the EAP advertised itself as like free employee counseling. So I was seeking counseling, I was seeking, a medical professional. They did a very fast intake process, but then there was a waiting period of about 2-3 weeks before I could see a counselor. So I would love not just here's the phone number for EAP, but like here are the expectations of how long you're going to wait. Because if you need to talk to someone right now, this second, it's actually better for you to call a hotline. Instead of, waiting 3 weeks. And then when I finally got that service, the person doing the services clarified that they're actually not a counselor, they're a life coach. And so I felt like that was definitely not communicated through their advertising. They kept saying counselor, counselor, counselor. But life coaching is totally different. And this person did not have like the background to understand what it's like. I was a frontline worker, so they could not support someone who's a frontline worker. So had I known that, I could have saved 3 weeks of my life of waiting. Just stuff like that. And so I think on a manager level, and you're giving me some really good ideas, it would be great if they didn't just give you the phone number, but they gave you like a breakdown. Here's average wait time. Here's the type of services provided. Here's the intake process and what it's like. It's going to take 15 minutes. Something to expect, because I think when you're already burned out, the last thing you need is disappointment. And then that makes you be like, okay, well, forget it. I'm not doing this anymore because I tried and it didn't work out.
Thank you so much for your heartfelt sharing. And I really appreciate that. And also, I think what you raise the issue here, definitely, that is a very serious issue. And also, I want to raise another question. I mean, for everyone, it is not really a question, but that we can reflect on. And even because I dare say maybe the manager team themselves may not know exactly what the service available, and what they can do. Maybe they have to take a step forward to invite the company themselves, because it is a totally different company, right? The benefit company, the insurance company, to come and talk about in detail what services are available, because that's what happened at Fook too. And not only that, and at the meantime, when we have to have a wait list, and do we feel comfortable talking to our team, to the manager, and saying that, well, that is a long waiting, but at the moment, I really feel devastated, and I'm not at the state that I can come to work. So, is there any other way that other support available? For example, so when that doesn't work, do the organization provide that opportunity and that safe space for us to talk about it? And that is the very important thing, that we can bring it back to our organization and to us. That's why from that video, I really find that actually not only that video, when I do the research, many research have pointed out those programs, no matter what benefit, of course, those are very important. Don't get me wrong that they are not. But the most important is investing in the organizational culture, just like that video indicate, that the culture that really embrace wellness, encourage people to talk about tough issue, and also understanding mental health, accepting mental illness, and cultivate a space like that, a safe space for people, for staff to talk about. And that is very, very crucial, more than those programs. So what they found is that the healthy and sustainable culture emerge as the clear winner. 78% people agree that if the organization have this kind of culture, it is really, really helpful. And also the next best factor that contribute to the organizational wellness is a supportive culture for mental health, especially for mental health, not only not only for physical health, right? Physical health, I think, is much easier to navigate nowadays. So another important factor to cultivate that, it is the support in mental health. And next to that, it is mental health treatment that just like our dear friend here share with us, like where to seek help, to refer, that they can get the timely intervention. Not only, in that place there is such a service, but the timely intervention is crucial. Not waiting 1 month, 3 weeks, or something like that. And self-care resource are helpful. So as you can see, the self-care resources are at 60%. It's high too, but the rest are even more effective. So when we're talking about why is it effective, so important to cultivate a place, a psychological safe working place. Because from the Harvard, they have done research and they find that a shared belief that the team is safe, that if we at the organization, we have a shared belief that it is safe for us to talk about, even no matter what tough issue or our mental health state or our challenge. If we have that feeling that we are safe to talk about that, and that is called the psychological safety. It is the confidence that it will give us that we won't be embarrassed if we talk about it, that we say, oh, Maria, how can you think like that? Or being rejected, oh, wow, you have a weak nerve, look at me, I can tolerate even more stress, for example, right? Or being punished, someone for speaking up. And if we have an environment that totally embracing that, recognizing that, allow people to talk, and that is a very first step and very crucial step as well. And it characterized by interpersonal trust. In order to have such a safe space, that of course we have to build that rapport, build that trust within the team, within the organization, in each different level as well. So when we are talking about that crucial factor contributing to the psychological workplace, and that is what a psychological safe place look like. And I think each one of us can contribute to that. And also another crucial thing that they found about contributing to the psychological wellness is return to office policy. How many of us here that we have to return to office now on at least three times a week? How many? You can just put the emoji. Oh, okay. Not too many, right? Oh, okay. Yeah. Me too. We need to come to the office 2 times. But at least maybe that is not a very big issue in this group. But when what they found, the statistic found is that not necessarily that you work at home is the best, no, because they found those people does not have an office space and they do not need to work at the office, not necessarily they feel happier, okay? And what they found is most crucial is that they have the choice and what best to them, and the company honor that. For example, if Maria said, oh, can I come to office 1 day a week instead of like 3 days because I have this schedule and I have this and I have to something at home, for example, and I was given that autonomy to make that decision, and that is the most helpful, instead of like saying that, oh, everyone has to do this, everyone has to come to the office 2 times a week, or nobody need to come here. Okay, is it clear? All right. And also another very, very crucial and effective way is culture change from top down and bottom up. What does that mean? That means the leader, if we are in the leader position, that we ourselves talk about our mental health story. For example, my mother has that mental health issue since I was young, so I can talk about it. And also talk about my own if I have some challenge, right? Talk about my own. And also not only talking, I model it. Like I will, if at 5 o'clock, everyone's supposed to go home. If I see Maria still working, I said, Maria, why are you still working? Go home and rest. Or After 5, do not circulate the email, right? For example, things like that. So the leadership model that by action and also talk about their own issue. Not necessarily mental illness. They can talk about, I feel so stressed today. Isn't that stressful? I can understand you guys, how stressful it is. For example, talking about it, make it normalize it, that it happened in any level. And also from the frontline, from the employee itself, we can, among us, among our team, we can also create that safe space and that opportunity to talk and also to convey our concern to our colleague, relate our, love or our care to them. And that helps to build that, okay? And when we have doubt, and we can ask the management team to clarify. And not only that, I think one of the things is that sometimes the management may not know our challenge. And I think that if we can create that space and we can talk about it in our team, and maybe the team leader can bring it to the higher level to talk about the common concern within the team, okay? That is the way to make change. And what can we do if we are the manager? Create a safe space. I keep talking. That is very, very number one step. If people do not feel safe, they will not talk, okay? So be aware and on the lookout for the sign and symptom, and be open and empathy. Have that empathy with our team. Actively listening to people. Listening is very crucial. And offer support and share recovery practice. And what we have, the agency have. And I think if we are, as the manager, we know the benefit inside out is very important. And offer the flexibility, as I say, that individual will feel that their opinion and their concern are being heard and valued. So they're being given autonomy, especially because I'm sure statistics can prove that the productivity is not being affected, of course, right? Identify their job-related stress and to embrace, adjust their job condition accordingly as well. Acknowledge that, and some individuals are facing the challenge, and sit with the individual to go through that and see what can help, and also maybe to adjust to their need. For example, if individual having sleeping problem, that they cannot go to sleep until 4 a.m. due to maybe the issue, and maybe we can allow this individual to have different working hour if allowed. So things like that to make it flexible. The flexibility is indicating not only the tangible support and also intangible, meaning we acknowledge your challenge and we value you as a staff, and we hear your challenge and we are trying to accommodate. And where can we guide people? As I say, we know really in detail what is the benefit about, and we help the individual, our staff, to navigate the system and make sure they know the policy, because although the policy is in our server, but I bet you not every one of us read with it or know it from inside out. And even we read it, we forget about it, right? So many things to remember for us. So we can guide them, especially when it's needed, and discuss what work schedule would work best for them, just as like the previous slide, and support and check in with this individual. Support and check in, not only just one talk, just constantly checking in to make sure. So for us as a colleague, we can help to build that supportive team, because I truly believe we are each other's best support. Because the manager, they may not see us on a daily basis, but our team member, our colleague, we see our colleague on a regular basis. So we know something is wrong, and we can provide that timely concern and caring. And that really go a long, long way. Be aware of the sign, as I say, and also talk to the colleague. We have to open that talk, because it's very difficult for the individual to talk about their, openly talk about their mental health issue or their challenge sometimes. If we open that conversation, inviting them to talk, and that really are helpful. And make time and talk to our coworker, and if needed, we advocate for their needs. And make time to have fun. Very, very important, okay, guys? And yeah, as I say, to start that conversation, and maybe make it a regular check-in before our regular meeting. Stay connect with people who are off because of the mental health issue. Encourage and accompany our colleague to seek professional service. That's what I really found to be helpful. Because at one time, one of our colleagues are having that issue, but she's very reluctant to go. And one of my the worker accompany her to see the DPA. And that really is encouraging, and also making the individual feel less isolated, being support. Talk about making your workplace stigma-free is also very important. Yeah, to build a stigma-free. It's very sad, but I must share with you that even we are in this nonprofit sector, and yet still until today, I dare to tell you that many of our in this field, the people in this field still have strong stigma attached to mental health. And also at the organizational level, we will see, is there adequate support available, right? Because everything we are talking about resources. And if the organization does not have the money, what can they do? Well, we can be creative. We can think about using a cost-effective way to provide that support. And the policy need to be updated, then we have to let the organization know. Do you know how and what exists to help with time off or flexible work arrangement? And a lot of time we need to update our board, because the board, they are not paid, right? They may not be from this field as well. So it's up to the management team, the manager, to educate them on that. And what cultural behavior or norm may be contributing to the burnout at the organization. As many of us work in the multicultural setting, so I mean, not one culture fits all. Their support strategy we can advocate for to enact the change in the company and to cultivate that supportive environment. All right, this is the last video I saw, and then I will open for questions.
Our host, Mark Ostash, is a digital wellness author and human connection expert who has written 2 books, done 2 TED Talks, and is frequently featured in USA Today. So check your phone one last time and get ready to be encouraged by Mark Ostash.
If I were to ask you to describe your week in one word, what word would you choose? This is the same question that I asked over 3,000 people in an employee-based survey focused on our digital wellness and emotional health. I'm guessing that the word you chose is reflective of the top 5 words that everyone else chose. And if you're wondering how our video meetings impact our emotional health, well, our data suggests that if you have more than 25 a week, you are 2 times more likely to report poor emotional health. So why do I share all this? I believe the biggest problem companies face today is fostering a culture of connection and wellness in a workplace that's often overwhelmed and struggling with burnout. In the past 3 years, I've worked with over 200 organizations across the globe, helping them face the same problem that you're facing, which is how do we keep our teams connected? I feel like I am charged and called with the desire to help organizations reduce the sense of overwhelm and increase the sense of connection to their work, their people, and themselves. Across my travels, here are the top 3 takeaways that I've learned. Number 1, employee well-being is on the top of every agenda of every organization I work with. Number 2, leaders who model vulnerability in the workplace foster a sense of connection and trust that helps build and retain teams. Number 3, health and well-being is being redefined, and so should our approach to it. In addition to the loneliness epidemic, we have what's called the social connection epidemic. This is people in the workplaces that we live and work in that are craving social connection. The World Health Organization, the U.S. Surgeon General, and many other experts have come together to say, how do we fix a culture that is lost in its social well-being?
Social connection is as fundamental to our mental and physical health as food, water, and sleep. And it affects our performance and productivity at work, school, and in our communities.
After getting calls from some of the biggest brands like Nike, Salesforce, and Ford, I found myself helping them reduce a sense of overwhelm in the workplace just by teaching them ways to better connect. And truthfully, it's my goal to help teach each individual at every conference and event I speak at to better connect online, over Zoom or Teams, offline, in the office or field, and then in line with themselves.
All right. Thank you so much. That is my presentation for today.